Alrighty guys, we're back for max speed red deck wins, and this is an Aetherdrift standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. Actually got a lot of burn packed in, cards like all 4 Boltwaves, okay, 3 damage is no joke. We got all 4 burst lightning of course too, got 3 lightning strikes in here, and pairing with all that burn, we got Coruscation Mage as a 4 of. 2 mana 2/2 Otter Wizard, okay, it has Offspring for 2. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. The goal here is to actually treat this as a 4-drop in this deck list and actually successfully offspring it. And how we're going to do that is actually with Muraganda Raceway. Only 19 total land, but Muraganda Raceway here, first of all, has Start Your Engines. Called it max speed red deck wins for a reason, right? So when you start your engines, if you have no speed, it starts at 1. It increases once on each of your turns when an opponent loses life. Max speed is 4. It should be all too easy to get to max speed. Now, for this card, it taps for a colorless, but when you have max speed, taps for 2 colorless. All right, a little bit of ramp in our red deck wins, right? So we have other ways to start our engines, of course. We have 3 Kickoff Celebrations this time, so it's a 2-mana enchantment with Start Your Engines, and when this enchantment enters, you may discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards, okay? And when you have max speed, you can sacrifice this enchantment. Creatures and vehicles you control gain haste until end of turn. Not the only way to give haste in here, we do also have an Amonkhet Raceway in the mana base. Start Your Engines taps for colorless, and when you have max speed, you can tap it. Target creature gains haste until end of turn. Awesome stuff. Now, a lot of our creatures already have haste anyways. Cards like Screaming Nemesis making the cut as a 4 of. The more test games I played with this deck, the more Screaming Nemesis I added to the deck, so it only makes sense that we landed on all 4 of them. Other hasty creatures, we actually have all 4 Gingerbrutes too. That gives us the opportunity to potentially have a turn 1/2 speed, which I don't think is actually going to be unheard of at all. So, other hasty creatures, Hazoret Godseeker. It's a 2-mana 5/3 indestructible haste, and Start Your Engines. Now, it has a downside. It can't attack or block unless you have max speed, which again should be all too easy in here. So it has a middle ability too for some reason. For 1 mana, you can tap it. Target creature with power 2 or less can't be blocked this turn. And of course, that could come in handy. It's a very similar concept to the Gingerbrute's top ability too, which you're actually not going to take the time to go over. I feel like I already put Gingerbrute in like 4 of my deck lists. So yeah, I'm not going to take the time to go over it right now. More ways to start our engines. Burnout Bashtronaut is a 1 mana 1/1 with a menace for 2 mana. This creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Okay. That 2 mana could come from the Muraganda Raceway, right? Now it also has, when you have max speed, it has double strike. Cool stuff. And of course, that'll pair nicely with Monstrous Rage. But what doesn't Monstrous Rage pair nicely with, honestly? You know what I mean? We also have a Tectonic Hazard as an extra way to poke the opponent's face. And you never know, maybe we'll clean up a board state of Deep Cavern Bats or something, right? All right, is that everything already, guys? No, actually, Outpace Oblivion here as a 3-mana card. It's an enchantment, has Start Your Engines as well, but I gotta be 100% with you. If you're not starting your engines until turn 3, you're probably in trouble. Well, not completely in trouble, right? It's just you're probably not gonna actually reach max speed that game. Anyways, when this enchantment enters, deals 5 damage to up to 1 target creature or planeswalker. 5 damage is no joke, and you're probably going to end up hitting your Screaming Nemesis every now and then just to use that 5 damage against the opponent. So it has a bottom ability too for 2 mana. Oh, 2 mana. Muraganda Raceway mana, maybe, right? Sacrifice this enchantment. It deals 2 damage to each player who doesn't have max speed. So even if you don't reach max speed, that could help you get there, first of all, but also it could help you close up games. Like, how often in mono red do you actually get the opponent down to 2 or 1? Often, I would say, and then sometimes it comes down to just top decking the extra burn. You already have Outpace Oblivion on the board, well, there you go. All right, honorable mentions, guys. I thought about extra shocks over something like the one of Tectonic Hazard, but the Hazard is fine enough. Endrider Catalyzer here is a 2-mana 3/1 with Start Your Engines, and when it have max speed, you can tap it for double red, which honestly could really come in handy, especially if we get stuck on red mana in some of these games, like if we see too many of the raceways or something. So definitely something to consider. I also consider some deserts, but I think overall in this deck in particular, they're going to slow us down. So, all right, guys, I do my dandiest to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, go ahead, take this into some ranked, see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first game. In the meantime, what am I expecting from the build? I don't know, dude. I don't know. I want it to be really good, but is monocolored max speed really the way we want to go? Maybe. This starting hand looks decent. Only the Screaming Nemesis as a creature, though. Still have a turn 2 Boltwave. We'll be increasing our speed. And then turn 3 Screaming Nemesis. I'm going to give this a shot. Yeah. We're going to just start our engines, because I plan on a turn 2 Boltwave. Or turn 2 Lightning Strike 2, depending. Which I guess it doesn't really matter. We still could have just started our engines on turn 2 and did the exact same thing, right? Outpace Oblivion. Yeah, I'm just going to stay on task here. Boltwave, get to 2 speed. And then think about that Screaming Nemesis on 3. Great news that we went first here, guys. Because this is a relatively slow hand. Gingerbrute, you were supposed to be here turn 1, buddy. You're a little late. Alright, let's see what Screaming Nemesis can get done. Is that a blue source over there, opponent? Oh dear. Well, Screaming Nemesis might get bounced back, but thank goodness it landed. Alright, 3 speed. And demand answers from the opponent. Okay. They discard a Thran portal. That's probably a good idea. What, you're up against mono red? Artist talent. Nice. Okay. Well, we're not in danger right now as the opponent is setting up. I suppose we really go for it here, right? So we could actually start with something like Lightning Strike. Max speed, we'll still have 3 then. I'm going to do that over the Gingerbrute. How does that feel, guys? How does that feel? I don't know how that feels. So max speed. I guess we'll see. The Verge is still open here, guys. I guess Outpace Oblivion's for next turn. Because if we do 3 and then another 5, it's actually a little bit better to use the Raceway's double mana on the Gingerbrute. Yeah, we probably didn't need to do the Lightning Strike right away, but that's okay. We'll use the Monstrous Rage this turn. Yeah, this is a little bit safer than popping the Screaming Nemesis for the turn. Screaming Nemesis already has a huge target on his back, so we go Monstrous Rage onto the Brute. And it is going to be an Into the Floodmaw on... Which one did they target? Oh, the Gingerbrute. Okay. So they're down to 8. We got a ton of mana on the board. Outpace Oblivion is ready, dude. Ill-timed explosion. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, let's see how hard they hit the Nemesis, first of all. Oh, they hit it for 4. All right. Opponent's down to 4. Oh no, more mana is terrible news. That's really, really bad. Oh dear, we only have 19 mana packed in here, guys. So Outpace Oblivion only does 2 damage when we pop the bottom. I guess I don't want them to do anything fancy like counter it. So we play it and decline. And yeah, submit 0. End turn. Since we technically don't know what we're up against, just establishing it on the board. Because that's going to be an extra 2 damage. That's the plan, right? And then there's so much we can top deck. Okay, ill-timed explosion. There's so much we can top deck here, guys. But they do have 1 mana open still. It could be, if we see like another hasty creature, it could be another bounce spell too. Okay. Do I just activate this for fun? I guess so. While we have the open mana, there's no reason not to activate this, right? Down to 1. Gingerbrute. Come on, buddy. Let's get the job done. There we go. That was a little awkward, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of like, well, first of all, there was that one turn where I went Lightning Strike thinking I was going to use the extra mana on the Raceway, but then decided that just the Gingerbrute play with the Monstrous Rage was a little better. And it actually was. It was much better, especially since they had the Into the Flood Maw. So if I would have tried Screaming Nemesis and then tried to hit it for 5, they would have bounced it before all that anyways, right? Before the swing, they would have bounced it. So ended up working out. So we didn't end up needing the extra mana off the Raceway at all. Thank goodness we didn't see more mountains off the top. Or more land in general, right? Yeah, 19 land. I really don't want to consider 18 land. We should be fine. And overall, we kind of were fine there. Only 5 mana. It's not like we saw 8 mana or something. It felt like more since we were ramping on the Raceway. All right, opponent, what you bringing to the table, buddy? We go first. That's great news. Look at this. Gingerbrute. Raceway. Nice. That's always nice that we're going first, too. That means no blockers for the Gingerbrute. Go, 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 go. Right away, 2 speed. Now, here's the question, right? Do we go... Okay, Optimistic Scavenger. Burnout Bashtronaut. Okay, that answers my question. I'm going to save the Mage. We're going to go Mountain. That'll be for... Wait a minute. This Scavenger has to die, huh? Yeah, for sure. We don't want that to get boosted beyond anything that I can deal with. I guess we'll see if they block, because we have Monstrous Rage, but they probably don't. Oh... That works out. That's totally fine. That's one way to get rid of Scavenger number 1. And 3 speed already. Wow. Okay. I guess that's the turn, though. Uh-oh. Nothing for 2 mana. Also, Scavenger in Esper colors. This is going to be Esper Pixie, huh? So what's the discard to the Kickoff Celebrations, do you suppose? I want the 3rd mana on the board. We want Coruscation Mage for the turn, maybe? Find something else. Well, first of all, let's see if Gingerbrute even gets through. It's not going to get through, guys. So, Coruscation Mage is not happening for the turn. Well, we could for 2 mana, but I want to treat this like a 4 mana card in a lot of these. Okay. Well, we still max our speed, still have 3 open, but only 1 red source. So we could always... Yeah, we'll still max our speed and get the Bashtronaut down. How's that sound, guys? Hopefully that's okay. I know one thing, Offspring versus Esper Pixie is going to be really good. It would have been much, much better to get the Coruscation Mage down this turn, but we should be okay. Pixie, bounce the Nowhere to Run. Hopefully they miss their 3rd mana then, because that's going to be pretty rough. These deck lists are always pretty rough, though. Spiteful Hexmage. Okay. Might get a good swing with the Bashtronaut. We'll see what we end up drawing here, too. Ooh, Screaming Nemesis. Okay. That's pretty good. But my Coruscation Mage and ramping into it with the Raceway, like, that's one of the main goals today, you know? Let's swing, see what they do. Hopefully they don't get too crazy with the blocks here, because I want to get some damage through, but okay. So we'll let them go down to 11 and then Offspring this Coruscation Mage. Let's do it. We'll see what we draw next turn too and decide if we want to just go Kickoff Celebrations, draw into more burn, And we'll see what their target is here with the nowhere to run. Well, Sheltered by Ghosts is so much worse, though. They're going back up to 13 here. They're definitely swinging. Like, Burst Lightning isn't bad. We have the ward cost. We could get the Bashtronaut back. If we pay the extra 2 with the ward, we won't have anything left in hand. We could just focus damage. Go Screaming Nemesis full swing. See what they do with the Hex Mage. Probably block the 1/1 at that point. Then they'll gain another 3 next turn. Unless we go Burst Lightning onto the Screaming Nemesis, hit their face. Which I suppose that works as well, doesn't it? At that point, do we keep this 1/1 back? Probably not, because we wouldn't mind the attack into it. A lot of decisions here, guys. There really is. All right, let's do this. Kickoff Celebrations, just kind of chilling right now. They do end up blocking the 1/1. I'd say that's okay. But before the 1/1 dies, we do want to get as much damage pushed through as possible here. All right, Screaming Nemesis. It's a little silly not taking out the Pixie, but paying the extra 2 just didn't seem worth it to me. No more life gain for you. Down to 4. Let's see what we can get done here. Now at this point, with the extra mana on the Raceway, if we top deck mana, perfect card to trade out for the Kickoff Celebrations. Oh, they say decide. I think we decide on sacrificing Coruscation Mage. Also, it kind of sucks that the opponent missed their 3rd mana for this many turns in a row. That definitely sucks, right? All right, we can do that. We'll have 2 open. Kickoff Celebrations, looking for some burn here. It's mana! No! Okay, well. Crap. I mean, Screaming Nemesis is going to die next turn, so... we only need 1 Raceway on the board, realistically. I'll play the Mountain for the turn. Yeah, I don't want to consider 18 mana just yet, guys. If we go down to 18 mana, maybe we'd go up another Kickoff Celebrations for more ways to trade out, especially in the early game. All right. Well, lots of stuff we could top deck to get there, right? A lot of stuff. Down to 11. Thank goodness they can't gain life. Thank goodness for Screaming Nemesis, right? Hey, all right, let's, well, just in case, completely play this out with the Raceway on the board. Okay, there we go. I don't know what it could have been for 1 mana that we would have had to pay an extra 5 on the board, but you never know. Sometimes I don't know all the blue cards from a new set. That would be pretty silly though, right? The Raceway, I mean, we're successfully getting the speed to 4 so fast. Raceway being an extra 2 mana is really interesting so far. It could make the case for 18 mana over 19 mana. But again, if we trade anything in, it's got to be like another Celebrations or like something else to see more off the top, like a Ren's Resolve or something. We'll think about it, but I'm not convinced yet. Yeah, this is pretty neat, though. Definitely a burn style build, just with max speed packed in. We go first. Gingerbrute in hand again. Wow. Yeah, look at this, man. I'll tell you what. I don't mind this at all. We're keeping this. I guess there's a chance we could get stuck on just having 1 mana, but... Raceway, turn 1, 2 speed. My goodness, dude. How often is that actually going to happen? Apparently often. Alright, another Coruscation Mage. That's great news. Well, I guess we swing first, see what happens to Gingerbrute. Nothing happens to Gingerbrute. We'll get 1 Coruscation Mage down. And then Coruscation Mage number 2 Might be an offspring one. See what they do to both of our creatures here. Okay. We can successfully get another mountain without any worries, right? If they want to trade into Gingerbrute, that's a great trade for us. So we start with the swing, of course. Max speed, that's crazy, dude. That's actually pretty crazy, right? Coruscation Mage on turn 3 with an offspring. And now any burn we see off the top is getting super deadly. Oh, Sheltered by Ghosts. What are you doing over there again? How dare, opponent. All right, we have the mana. Okay, they keep a blocker back, first of all. More mana off the top is terrible, guys, right? Wow. I think we value the red source over the Raceway, so we'll get the red source down. Like the Amonkhet Raceway is probably what we trade out if we see the Kickoff Celebrations. We can get Gingerbrute underneath. Why would we want to? They want to trade into the other Coruscation Mage. We probably don't want to Lightning Strike our own Screaming Nemesis, but Screaming Nemesis is the play for the turn. Well, we're going to be able to do both things anyways, but I mean, we still play it, we still swing with it, all that fun stuff. Don't know what that Plains is there. Okay, Lightning Strike open. Wow. I mean, they plan on gaining 2 back up to 10. I really don't want to Lightning Strike the Screaming Nemesis, but it depends how boosted they get this Sky Knight. Oh, Verge. Sky Knight number 2 gets a counter, or Sky Knight number 1 gets a counter from Sky Knight number 2. So gaining 3. Sheltered by Ghosts. If they target Screaming Nemesis, then we know what to do. All right. We smack our own Screaming Nemesis and smack their face, right? Although, yeah, we don't have the extra ward for this, right? 4 ward. Wait, we do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll get Coruscation Mage. Nah. Yeah, Lightning Strike the Screaming Nemesis. We're going to stop this life gain, even if they find Sheltered by Ghosts. Next turn, too. Sheltered by Ghosts 3 and 4. Stopping the life gain for the rest of the game is brutal, man. Oh, it's a Monstrous Rage, too. Holy cow, man. Holy cow. All right, well, we can activate Gingerbrute ability. We can full swing. They can block. And then we can put Monstrous Rage anywhere. It's a good draw, man. At least it wasn't mana. So, was that all the games so far? We hit 5 lands? Am I thinking correctly right now? Or... First of all, so far so good. I'm still considering the 18 lands, but I'm still not convinced. That's pretty funny, though. Oh, man. All right, let's keep the ball rolling, huh? Hey, while I have you here in the middle of the video, make sure you check out that description where we have that Discord link, as well as that Patreon link, too, if you're interested in joining either of those up or supporting the channel that way. And then also, guys, for the YouTube side of things, if you like the video, make sure you drop it a like. And if you enjoyed the channel, then consider subscribing, because it really does help out the channel. So thank you, guys. All right, opponent, what you bringing to the table, buddy? Yeah, so far so good. We're, I guess, overdue for some losses at some point here. No way. Dude, no way. Gingerbrute with Raceway again. Wow. I mean, Gingerbrute's a 4 of. The Raceways, we have 5 Raceways total. So, I don't know what the odds of it is, seeing it in the opener this much in a row, but... All right. They say, we'd rather cut down your turn 2. Let's see if Gingerbrute gets through. Okay, cut down on the Gingerbrute. We could sacrifice it, gain some life, or we just go to 3 speed with a Boltwave for the turn. All right. 3 speed. We don't even have anything in hand that cares about the speed. Hopefully we see Hazoret today, guys. The 3 of in here. No, you get out of my hand, opponent. Is it the Burst Lightning over the Boltwave? Burst Lightning gives us options to pop creatures. Boltwave just hits their face. It is going to be the Burst Lightning. That makes a lot of sense to me. Okay, Raceway. I guess we know what card to discard when we see the Kickoff Celebrations, right? Engines to 4. Come on, Hazoret off the top. Come on down, Hazoret. Come on down. Nemesis is a goner. Shoot the Sheriff, actually. Wow, that's a removal we don't see very often. Raceway? Holy cow, dude. Okay. I'm still not convinced, game, no matter how much you want to try to convince me that we need 18 land in here instead of 19. This is a lot of land every game. Yeah, we might as well drop the Boltwave, huh? We might as well. We're in a lot of danger, guys. Against Golgari, there's so much value packed into Golgari. Not seeing things to play here. Although, if we had something on the super top end, all these raceways really giving us a lot of ramp. Oh. The 4th raceway. Holy cow, guys. First of all, at max speed, we have 8 total mana on the board available. They're going to draw down to 9. They'll have Restless Cottage ready for next turn. Archfiend coming down. Guys? Guys, send help. What is happening? All right, here's our 10th mana. I think for the last turn, I'm going to tap all the land just for fun, just to pile up some mana. Holy cow, dude. All right, down to 8. We have 1 turn to see something off the top. So it could be a Kickoff Celebrations. That would be best case scenario, which is actually why I should have played the Mountain instead. I played Raceway just because it's funny we have all 4 of them. It's a mountain. It was time for our loss, huh? I feel that. I feel that this game. So let's tap some lands, dude. Let's I don't know if priority is gonna pass if I don't go full control. Yeah. Yeah, look at all that mana. Look at all that mana. Okay, I'm done, opponent. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. 11 total mana on the board. The Raceway is kind of crazy when you think about it. When you have a deck list that can successfully get max speed so easily, we might want to consider even more top end. Go down to 18 or keep 19, consider bigger cards. No, I don't know about that, honestly. I think keeping at what we have, first of all. I'm convinced, man. More testing required. That was pretty unlucky, I would say, for this game, because that's... Well... Someone do that math for me, huh? What do we got here? We saw 8 lands in the top 13. The top 13 cards, we saw 8 lands, and we have 19 land total. It's definitely a flood. It's definitely unlucky, but how unlucky, right? Because it still might be that thing where it feels even more unlucky because we have the Raceways producing 2. It's still pretty bad though. All right, guys, let's keep the ball rolling. My goodness, that was something else, huh? Opponent, what'd you bring to the table, buddy? I know what I'm bringing to the table. I'm bringing 9 lands this game. Wow, Gingerbrute Raceway. What? Dude. Holy cow. How often is this going to happen? Oh, Hazoret. Hi. I didn't even look at the rest of the hand, dude. I saw the mana we needed. I saw early Gingerbrute. That's all I cared about. Now if they remove Gingerbrute, we have Boltwave to get the 3. Or, I guess, Lightning Strike at that point, too. They got their Swift Spear. Burst Lightning, the Swift Spear is actually a little better here, right? Just get it off the table before it gets out of hand. I wouldn't mind establishing Bashtronaut, but when it comes time, we have a chance of giving it haste with the Raceway anyways, right? Alright, yeah. I mean, we're going to do this one way or the other before it passes back, so we'll do it. Free speed. Red source off the top, so we could Boltwave and then drop Hazoret would be crazy, man. Yeah, red source off the top, best case scenario, easily. Funny enough, now we want land, right? Outside of that, it's totally fine if we have to swing with this Gingerbrute to get to max speed. We could have a hasty Hazoret next turn anyways. Okay, Manifold Mouse. That wouldn't be terrible to pick up with the Lightning Strike. Okay, Monstrous Rage. Okay. I guess we could start with that swing, see if they block. I highly doubt it. But you never know. Monstrous Rage. We won't get the Bashtronaut down then. That's still, like, still the best thing. But they probably don't block anyways. We probably get to 4 speed. Okay. So we can ignore Monstrous Rage, get the Burnout down. Or we could go Lightning Strike onto the Manifold Mouse. That also works. No, I think they're the ones that need to be on defense. Speaking of which, if we were on the defense here, Hazoret, like, just ignoring the haste and just keeping this as a pretty powerful blocker against mono red, what are they going to do about indestructible? You know what I mean? So Hazoret also would have worked, but I'm just establishing things. Again, red source off the top, best case scenario, but Bashtronaut on the board with double strike with a Monstrous Rage in hand is crazy, dude. Speaking of double strike, they do go for the swing. It's like I said, I feel like they're the ones on defense, but I guess it depends what they have in hand. Monstrous Rage. And I'll take the 8 gladly. Is it another boost, though? That's the question. Looks like they're keeping 2 open. Could be a Lightning Strike. Okay. Alright, passes back. Outpace Oblivion. See right here, the case for 19 land, right? Because we really want that extra land. Excuse me, guys. If we swing with everything, with the Hazoret as well, let's see, how much damage is that? It's only 9 damage. Get him down to 8. Second opponent, I'm thinking. We could die easily. The card in hand, they could ignore our board state, go Lightning Strike to our face down to 8, and then Manifold Mouse gets there with a little boost on and double strike, right? So we should probably pop the mouse. It's unfortunate, but we should. That's not going to stop me from a full swing, though. Still. If they find another hasty thing, it has to be a really good hasty thing. Okay, down to 14. Lightning Strike the Manifold Mouse. Same thing for next turn, though, dude. Okay, great news, by the way. It wasn't any kind of extra boost. I don't know what a boost could have looked like for the toughness on the Manifold Mouse, but I know one thing. If this had prowess, that would have been a risky play. Lightning Strike, they actually get rid of the Burnout, which definitely sucks because now we don't have the double strike with the Monstrous Rage. Screaming Nemesis. I'm pretty sure we don't want to hit that with an Outpace Oblivion. I'm also pretty sure we are now the ones on the run here. Hazoret blocking Screaming Nemesis is terrible. Oh, no, guys. Based on everything they played, we can take the 3, we can swing for 6, we can try for game next turn. We can chump the Nemesis with the Gingerbrute. Swing for 5, try for lethal next turn, right? A chump into Nemesis. Take 1 out instead of 3. when we don't have another 1-drop on the board for them to pop anyways, the question is, are we going to have 9 damage next turn? The answer is if we miss the mana, no. We'll only have 8 with like Monstrous Rage and Hazoret. All right, I say, no, I'll still play it safe. Yeah, I'll still play it safe just in case. At this point, we're probably overdue for some mana, so I think we can get there. You pretty much, you never want to block Screaming Nemesis, but I think taking 1 instead of 3 is pretty essential here when we're not relying on life gain anyways. All right. See if the opponent has it. Okay, the chump goes through. It's not a Monstrous Rage in hand, but we're going down to 7. So got 2 cards in hand, 5 mana total. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, opponent. Oh no, we missed mana. We missed mana, guys. Yeah, the indestructible, that's okay, opponent. It's a new card. I completely understand. Right. So, I mean, we still don't have it though, so I suppose we swing. I guess we have to risk it again. Down to 4. This time we will put our Monstrous Rage onto it. Okay, making sure I wasn't missing anything over there, right? All right, let's see it. Let's see it. The Amonkhet Raceway. If it was the other Raceway, we would have had the Screaming Nemesis for the turn. We got to get the GGs ready. Down to 4. I can't believe it, guys. Are we okay? Are we not okay? They're looking at their hand. It's a Burst Lightning. Okay, good game, opponent. So they would have had the Burst Lightning anyways, if they remembered the indestructible on the god. So technically, would have been the opponent's. Guys, 2 mana in the top 12 with 19. Okay, again, someone do that math for me, right? So we desperately, desperately needed the 3rd mana to get that victory. So far, the deck list feels pretty good. As long as we can actually get the mana doing the right thing, right? 2 games in a row. 1 was a significant flood. The next one, we weren't finding the mana. Huh. 1 more, guys. 1 more. It's one of those things. We were overdue for some losses, and we definitely found those losses, but they kind of felt like losses where they didn't have to be losses type of thing. You know what I mean? I think that could have gone either way. I feel like it's doing the thing. I feel like it's performing pretty well. Hazoret again. I'd love to see more Hazoret. Also in that last game, playing it safe instead of like... No, playing it safe still makes sense to me. With that Gingerbrute play, you guys will have to let me know if I should have just swung with the Gingerbrute though. Okay, I see nothing wrong with this other than the fact that we only have 2 mana. But we should be fine. Let's start our engines. It's an island. There we go. 3rd mana right out the gate. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. I'll establish the Godseeker. I was going to say, do we want to get an extra damage through, or... Yeah, it's totally fine to get the Godseeker down. Might get bounced anyways, right? Conduit Pylons. Surveil. Okay. Conduit Pylons might mean we're up against some artifacts. Okay, Raceway. Not terrible. Next turn is the turn. Well, let's see what they end up doing here, right? Because we only have Bashtronaut for the swing. We might want to... Okay. They're letting it go. So I guess we're going to activate this time, right? We still have Burst Lightning open, but we kind of want to save it for before combat next turn to get the max speed so the Godseeker can swing in. So what was it then? It was a Curate. Surveil 2, draw a card. All right, let's see. A Sunbird Standard and another island. I don't know what we're up against, guys, at all. Surveil on conduit pylons. Okay. Oh. Okay. They still have 1 mana here. Again, I'm still anticipating a bounce spell, but... Boltwave. Nice. That's much better, because now we can keep the Burst Lightning for the kicker cost. Alright, play the mountain. Boltwave. Max speed. Cool stuff. Alright, let's get that swing. Boost Bashtronaut twice. Muraganda Raceway only tapping once is crazy, dude. It's a lot of damage. Oh, now it's going to be the bounce spell, though. Crap. That's okay, that's okay. They're going down to 9. Another Sunbird Standard. Aft with 1 or more. Power toughness each equal. Oh, they're passing it back. More mana might be what we want to trade out. Okay, we start with the swing. I can only imagine we're going to run into a counter spell when we try the Burst Lightning. But it's probably worth trying, right? Okay, another Dispersal. I'm not surprised by that. Do we play it back down this turn is the question. When we don't know what we're up against, what if they find a way to exile Hazoret? Push and pull. What on earth? What are we up against, guys? Let's play our Bashtronaut and keep 5 for the Burst Lightning at the end of their turn. Godseeker has haste, so... Okay, it's another mana. That's 6 total for them now, which would be a pool if they had the other source, which they don't. They just have islands and stuff. They craft the Sunbird. It's a 4/4, which is kind of freaking sick, right? They swing with it because it has vigilance. We let it slide because Outpace Oblivion's in hand, and they don't know about that. Okay, pick the Burst Lightning. Down to 5. More mana. Ew. It's pretty bad, right? Hazoret, come on down. I guess we play everything because we'll still have 2 open for the Bashtronaut ability then. Or 2 open for the Outpace Oblivion ability too at the bottom. GG opponent. We have to explore their deck list for a second, guys. I have to riddle this out real quick. So Dispersal. We got hit by 2 Dispersals, so some bounce spells. There had to have been more bounce spells packed in too, right? They got the Push and Pull, which is the multicolored card, right? Because it has white, black, and red. And a blue card, of course. So that's the 4/4. Its power and toughness are each equal to the number of colors among the exiled cards used to craft it. And then you can tap it for each color among the exiled cards used to craft this creature. Add 1 mana of that color. Oh, okay. So they actually could have had a whole bunch of mana. I didn't even look at that bottom ability, right? Yeah. Yeah, so it wasn't just like 1 island open there. That's interesting, but then what else was the deck list trying to do? It looks like they might have had all 4 Sunbird Standards in here. We saw 3 of them. The Curate, the Pylons were surveilling stuff into their grave. Was it literally a Sunbird Standard deck list? I have no idea. Either way, guys, we got to go over this deck list again, right? Let's get to it before I start rambling about it. Oh, guys, end of video pack, though. Let's do it. It's an Aetherdrift one. Also, we hit an achievement during this one as well. Oh, okay. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Nope, not going to do it. That's a card to try out at some point, though, right? All right, achievements. What do we got here? Color Mastery Red. Yeah. 350 non-combat damage to players over any number of games. Oh, Catch. That's a good one. I can't equip it right now, though. I'll have to, though, for sure. I don't know what I'd ever use that, though. If I throw a lightning strike at the opponent's face and drop the Catch emote, I'll just feel bad. You know what I mean? Oh, man. Max speed, red deck wins. Here's the deck list again. This was cool, man. It felt pretty good. 19 land. Double check. Yep, 19 land. Dude, I'm going to keep it at 19 land. Boy, it felt funny sometimes, though, didn't it? It really did. Very weird. Very weird stuff. If you're going down to 18 land, I would consider like another Kickoff Celebrations or something. Something that lets you trade out. So if you're not finding the land, trade something out, find the land. You're seeing too much land, trade out extra land. You know what I mean? Or similar concept, just another card. If you're dropping a land, go up a card that helps you see more off the top is what I'm getting at. So a Ren's Resolve as a one-of would also work well enough, I suppose. I liked all the extra burn. I liked that it was easy to offspring the Coruscation Mage, which is one of the reasons why I'm going down to 18 lands just doesn't make too much sense to me when we're kind of treating, like, look at this, a 7 3-drops in a red deck wins. 7 3-drops. When's the last time you saw that, right? So it's relatively expensive. And then some of our 3-drops require even more mana to be spent on them. I mean, look at that. That game, Burst Lightning, kicker cost. Easy peasy with the Muraganda Raceway, right? So we can, you know what? 5 mana card. Look at that. Now look at the curve. You've never seen a red deck wins with that curve. Extra mana being plugged into the Bashtronaut too. Man, yeah, 18 land doesn't make sense for me to go down to, but it did feel weird. It felt like we were seeing a more land than we needed to. It might just be because of how Muraganda Raceway works. Kind of like messes with your head a little bit, honestly. Tapping a land for 2 mana. It's a little bit silly. And it felt good. I like the 4 of these. I like the one of Amonkhet Raceway. Yeah, most of our creatures have haste anyways. The where you're giving haste would be like Coruscation Mage, which sometimes you don't even want to attack with this anyways. You want to sit on it, drop some of your burn from your hand, right? And then the other obvious card to give haste to, Burnout Bashtronaut. Now that would actually be pretty decent. So that being said, guys, the Muraganda Raceways are rare. Amonkhet Raceway is an uncommon. So if you only had a couple Muraganda Raceways, you could probably just play with those couple and then go up the rest of the Amonkhet Raceways. I'd say 5. 5 Raceways was definitely enough to get our speed started early on with the Gingerbrute and whatnot, which happened so often today. It's a little silly, right? It's a little silly. The whole deck list is a little silly. There's so much to be said about the fact that when you go max speed, it's probably better to have multiple colors, you know, at least 2 colors. Boros max speed, we just visited that a couple days ago, or whenever that video went up. And then, like, eventually we want to try Rakdos max speed too. But sometimes keeping it simple, I don't know, man. It felt pretty good, didn't it? I don't know. I'm not going to change anything. I know that much. Now that we established that I'm not going down to 18 mana, I don't want to change anything. The 4 Screaming Nemesis, of course, going to be terrific. It's still going to work well with the Outpace Oblivion too. There are going to be moments where you just Outpace Oblivion your Nemesis for the final 5 damage that you need to push through. And I'll tell you what, it should be all too easy to get the opponent below 5. And once you do that too, Outpace Oblivion's actually just really cool, isn't it? You're getting rid of their biggest creature, and then also it's just an ever-present threat on your board state, ready to pop to do 2 damage to the opponent. That being said, it is possible that your opponent gets max speed as well, and then it won't do 2 damage, so you'd always want to keep an eye on that as well. But yeah, man, I actually don't have too much to say here. Oh, I like the one of Tectonic Hazard for Monstrous Rage, still makes sense to me. 19 creatures. I suppose we could consider dropping a Monstrous Rage for even more burn, like Monstrous Rage down to 3, Lightning Strike up to 4 type of thing. That could work fine enough. Because, you know, we don't have any prowess creatures. We don't have any creatures that care about being targeted. But sometimes Monstrous Rage... Well, first of all, Monstrous Rage onto a double strike creature once you have max speed on the Bashtronaut is just silly, right? But other times, you're not going to successfully trample through with something like Gingerbrute, but you have Gingerbrute's ability to get through or to get underneath the opponent's creatures and still slapping a Monstrous Rage onto that anyways is still pretty good too. And in following turns, it's still pretty good because the monster roll still sticks around, so. All right. Enough rambling, huh? Oh, something we didn't see today. Okay, one more ramble, right? The middle ability on Hazoret. There's probably still going to be moments where you activate middle ability to get your Burnout Bashtronaut through or something, right? So it will come in handy. It's just we didn't use it at all today, did we? So yeah, that's fine. Also, we didn't use the max speed ability on the Kickoff Celebrations either, which was one of the reasons why I didn't opt for the Amonkhet Raceway too, because if we ever did actually need haste on multiple Coruscation Mages or something, we could just sacrifice the Kickoff Celebrations, because unlike something like Bitter Reunion, you have to pay 1 extra mana, but once you have max speed for this, you just sacrifice it. You don't got to pay any extra mana, which is actually really neat, right? Okay, guys. Enough rambling now, for real. If you made it this far into the video, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.